One of our speakers is retired Colonel Harry Lumkin. Most of you know him. If you don't know him, you will when he finishes. He is a member of several clubs here in the villages. He's retired, and of course he is my friend, and he will come and share some inspiring words with you. Colonel?
Thank you. What a great day to be here in the Villages, Florida. You see, there is this concept called racism. And when you use that word, it has several powerful emotions inside each of us. It makes us oftentimes choose a side of where we need to be on an issue. Sometimes it even forces us not to speak up when we should. Racism. All of us have been impacted. Our hearts and our souls and our minds have been impacted by what we saw on TV that day when we looked, and for 8 minutes and 46 seconds, the life was smothered from an individual. And as I sat on my couch with my lovely sweetheart of 52 years, I looked over at Connie and she said, And all of a sudden I saw tears rolling down her eyes. And from those tears, they were not just normal tears. They were tears of a mother who had sons, not just black sons. And it also were tears that represented those individuals who were white and those individuals of other colors, as tears start to really pour from her eyes. I didn't have to ask her what she was thinking about. For after 52 years, I know what she's thinking about. And I just came over and gave her a hug and said, thank you for the role model that you have set for the Lumkin clan. And she just smiled and said, we have to do something too. So when I was asked to make this presentation, I was glad to say yes. For this is just my small way of giving back just a little bit. But then, all of a sudden, I started to think about what had really transpired. I started to really reflect on what has occurred. And my phone was ringing off the hook, and I had several emails from several of our friends and said, Harry and Connie, would you just join us and let's spend some time talking about this thing called racism. And as we talked about it, the very first question they asked me was, have you ever experienced police brutality? Have you ever been faced with overt problems? And I thought about it for a second, and I hope my little brother here doesn't mind me telling this story. But when I was 5 years old and he was 3, my mother sent us off to get a loaf of bread at the corner store. The store was only 1 block from our house. And as we came out with the bread, all of a sudden, we were pinned against the wall by policemen with 2 German shepherds. And those German shepherds looked like they were going to eat us alive. And my brother, as I stood between him and the dogs, he was crying and I was shaking like I don't know what. And this old lady came out and said to the policeman, who just happened to have been white, leave those kids alone, for that is not what you are supposed to do. Take those dogs down the street. And they did. The message, however, is that this has a long-term impact on people. Today, my brother does not like dogs. I don't care what size they are. Because I think in his mind subconsciously, it represents a horrible time in his life. But then, I thought about another experience. When I was in the Republic of Vietnam, a young captain, ready to go to war and do what our nation called us to do. Airborne, Ranger, hardcore. As I stood there and watched our soldiers come from the field, many of them bloody and tired and weary, and they would look at me and they would hit their chest and raise their arm. The black soldiers would do that. And I would just acknowledge them. And this happened for about a month before I realized I don't know what this means. So I went back and talked to some of my black enlisted soldiers and said, this is what they're doing. What does this mean? And they said, Captain, you don't know. You are the first and only black junior officer that they have seen out there. And they know that you will take care of them. They know that you will stand up for them. They know that you are about their business. And they are saying to you, Captain, we will die for you. This is the first time, I think, that I can recall that I put in perspective that I had a greater obligation than to just myself. I had an obligation to help other black and white and people of color to achieve equality in all the things that they do. It was not just about being who I was, it was about helping others achieve their maximum goals and objectives in life. And as we go forward, things start to happen in your life and you cause them to reflect. I went off to my advanced course for young military officers. I was a young captain, 3.5 years in service. Everyone else in my class had 9 years of service. But I had done the things that were required at that time. I had already had command. I had already been to combat. I had already finished #1 in my class, and therefore I received an appointment to go teach at the United States Military Academy. And guess what happened? I got called to the office of all the commanders of my class. 5 white officers sitting there, and they had me report. And they said, Captain, I think you should turn down this opportunity, because you are junior to everyone else in your class. Not that you have met all the requirements, not that you were first in your class, but you have plenty of time to do this, and we will, how about letting one of your other contemporaries, all of which you happen to be white, go in your place? I couldn't believe what I was hearing. And as I started to leave, one of the white majors walked out, and he called me by name, and he said, let me tell you, we didn't have this conversation, but when you give an opportunity based on your qualifications, you take it. You don't let anybody try to make sure you are ready tomorrow when you're ready today. And I share that story not to glorify Harry Lumkin, but it's to put in perspective what is going on. For as I looked around at this glorious time of graduations for our young kids, and all of them are getting ready for proms and dances, and I thought about this. I thought about what those families are thinking. There are 2 families living side by side, a white family and a black family, and both are excited about their kids going off to these dances. They all are excited about getting their daughters dressed in their gorgeous gowns, and the guys in tuxedos and fine suits. And then the great day comes, and they walk out of the house. And we, as parents, are elated. We are so proud. But that's where the similarities in the story end. Because then what happens is, and this is just a generalization, I assume that many of my white friends get together. They put their arms around each other and they said, you know, we did good. Our kids are going off to a super event. We did well. Let's have a toast and go to bed. But it's different in the black family. Because once they walk out the door, after we have acted like we're so excited, there is fear that enters the house of the black family.
That's right.
They're wondering, will my son be pulled over?
That's right.
The black mother will say to the father, hey, did you explain to him when, not if, but when the police pull you over? Did you tell them to keep their hands up where everyone can see it?
Right.
Did you tell them to be respectful? Do you tell them not to go reaching fast for anything?
That's right.
Because justice is not equal for all.
Right.
And then, as my white counterparts go to sleep, that black mother who can't sleep at all, she is sitting there waiting for the key to get in the door to make sure her black son is back home.
Yeah, right.
And then, when that door opens, joy cometh in the morning. And she feels so relieved. And that feeling is not experienced by everybody. I just want you to share that particular moment. And now let's get down to the real story. The real story is those individuals out there protesting. And they are marching their hearts out, 10 and 15 miles a day, representing you and me. And why are they doing it? They're doing it because of what we taught them. They're doing it because we said, young man and young woman, you are an American. You stand for great values. You are an American. You stand for justice for all. You stand for not just being about yourself. It is about helping others. You stand for being supercharged with not being distracted from what reality is. You stand for being focused because you are an American. You stand for being all you can be to take care of those who are less fortunate than you. That is what you taught them. That is what we have told our clans. That is what we have instilled in them each day. But you know, we got a little problem now. Because now they are marching their hearts out. And you know, I get so disturbed at times when people are talking about this. They're saying, oh, do you see all the rioters and protesters? They don't even take time to glance at the side of the pictures that they are seeing that they were all taken on the first day. They don't take time to realize that those 95% of peaceful protesters are our kids, the ones we have sent out there. They don't know that it is not about disruption. It is about unity and standing what is of value to all of us. And you know, what do we do when those kids come home? When they get back, who has their back? Who has these young kids back? See, we have sent them out there, we have prepared them and told them all these values and stuff, and now they're coming back and they look at us, and what are we doing? How many of you at night have gone on your knees and prayed for their safety? How many of you have taken the time to say, thank you, Lord, for protecting our young people out there? How many of you have said, I need you, Lord, to make sure that these young people who are representing each of us for a better America is ready? How many of us have made sure that these kids stay focused? You see, kids are better than us. They get all focused because they know what the issue is, and they're not going to let anybody give them anything to dissuade them from doing what's right. And they're out there marching. But you know, some of us get kind of weak sometimes. Sometimes someone will say something and we're swayed to the other side. But now when these kids get home, what do we tell them that we've done? Did we take an opportunity to meet someone new? Did we take someone to feel a sense of unity? Have we taken some time to talk people into voter registration? have we taken the time to send a note to our congressman saying, this is not what we should do, and you are being sent there to represent us, and this is what we feel. Amen. How many of us have taken the time to do that after we have sent our young warriors up there to represent us? And if we have not done that, we have failed. We have not only trained them, but we've left them out there by themselves. And we're going to get on board. That's why this group is out here. See, because we believe in what we stand for. We believe in America that's grounded full of duty, of honor, and of country. We believe in America that is for all people. And we're not just going to talk about it. We're going to put those things to action. God bless each of you.